right in there.
Redneck and Jody Ross. Jody cinching up the weights down at the starting line and just about set to go here. Just as soon as we get the finish area of the course cleared off, as this Caterpillar lift tractor here delivers the white lightning to the sidelines, and we're just about ready to go.
Once again, we need Cindy Link to bring her crescent wrench here to the to the finish line area, if they would, please. All right, international people, here we go. On the starting line, Jody Ross out of Pennsylvania with the high-tech redneck on the starting line here. Here we go. Super stock at its best here at Freedom Hall. And right there for the high-tech redneck.
Under 21.74, 221.74. How about it, international fans?
They know they're going to get you, no doubt about it. And they're going to bring you to a screeching halt here in Freedom Hall. Who's up next now?
Johnny Trexler out of Gold Hill, North Carolina, driving the Joker. Johnny Trexler, the third puller in this class.
Who was that announcing, Charles, in 97?
All right, international people, let's get their hands together. Let's get this guy down the track.
Scott Douglas?
Yeah.
No?
I don't remember Johnny Trexler owning this tractor.
How about what? Frank Hart.
And right there for the Joker. Out of Gold Hill, North Carolina, Johnny Trexler. Well, we're talking super stock tractors here. You start with a stock block, and then you do a little work on the inside of the motor. You add as many turbochargers as you want, as we have unlimited turbochargers. Some of these guys may have as to 4, even more turbochargers in the super stock category.
7.6.
Did we ever have anybody who had more?
What's that, Ryan?
Did we ever have anybody try more?
There's
more than 4?
There was rumors back about the 70s that somebody was trying 5, and that was actually a thread that came up actually recently, and I forget the name associated with it. Somebody did try it before it got banned.
I mean, it sounds fun, right? Sounds fun. Welcome, everybody. It's January 30th. We have the Mike Whitt with us. He's just a janitor or a committee member of the National Farm Machinery Show. Mike Whitt, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you all?
Good. Thank you for doing this.
Well,
I know you love to do public speaking, and I will send you $20 after the show, Mike. So it's all good.
Thank you.
And first of all, the Pullers Happy Hour has nothing to do with Mike Whitt, so quit blowing up his phone. It's totally separate, and but he does love the attention. Oh, I love it, Whitt. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. Andy Gerbaugh says Thomas Brothers tried 5 chargers. Charles?
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute him on that one, but there was somebody who did try it. Yep.
Awesome. Well, we do have Mike Whitt. In all seriousness, Mike Whitt is a committee member of the Super Bowl of Pulling. We all like to say the National Farm Machinery Show coming up February 15th through the 18th. And we're going to get into the history of the farm show and talk a little bit behind the scenes of how it's structured and who helps run it and maybe some history of it and stuff like that, whatever other good stories Mike wants to share. If you're watching, please type into the comments if you've been to the farm show, if you've never been to the farm show, if you've never missed a farm show, what you love about the National Farm Machinery Show Truck and Tractor Pull, any specific questions for Mike or anything like that. We're just going to have some good time and, as always, grow the sport of pulling and get more eyeballs on it. So, Mike, we're 2 weeks away. Can you believe it already?
Well, really, I'd like to have about 3 to 4 more weeks before it happens, but it's going to happen in 2 weeks, and we'll be ready.
Yeah. Have you guys recovered from COVID?
Yes, I think so, because the ticket sales are going up. And last year on Saturday night, we sold out for the first night in probably 15 years. And the way ticket sales are above last year's at this point. So I think we have.
I actually am starting to get some questions like, can I still get tickets for Louisville? And I'm just obviously telling them to go to Ticketmaster. Am I saying the right thing, Mike? Is that where people need to buy them?
Yes, tickets are still available. It
Okay.
might not be at finish line lower arena, but you're going to get in the building, and
Right.
there is still seats available.
Okay. And the sound system's fixed, right? Or something, you guys did something different? Because that's been the biggest complaint. I'm just going to get it out there right now. Did you guys do something different?
We are doing something different, and I'm
Okay.
going to say, anything's better than what we had. So we're trying.
And then the truth behind it is, without the ceiling tiles in there, right? That's what created the what's the word I'm looking for? Charles, help me.
They're bad acoustics.
Yeah, the
Noise.
acoustics, right, Mike?
Yes, the building was set up for the ceiling tile, and then we always took the center out just for the tractor pull. Well, at some point, instead of replacing ceiling tile, they took them all out, and then that's why that sound just gets up there in the top and just rolls and rolls around in the top.
Perfect, and that makes sense. But let's just
It was cool though when modifieds would blow them out of there. I mean, it added to the show. It was a thing.
They're hoping to do some upgrades to the building in the next couple of years, and I understand why they don't want to spend the money for new ceiling tile, but they are bringing in a speaker system just for the tractor pull this year, and it's a sound system company that's doing it. Is it going to be better? Yes. Is it going to be what we had 10 years ago? Who knows?
Fair enough. Brian Lively says champpool.org for tickets. Champpool.org for tickets is where they want you to go on that. And I'm going to actually bring up some farm show stuff here. Again, thanks for joining us. It's Monday the 30th. We're talking with Mike Whitt, one of the committee members on the National Farm Machinery Show. Again, this year's dates are February 15th through the 18th. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 2 sessions, Saturday night. And it's going to be, it's always fun to kind of see some of the new tractors that are going to be unveiled. Craig Ladwig's unveiling his new Pro Stock tractor. We just got off him with the Badger State show. So a lot of cool things going on in the sport of truck and tractor pulling. And I honestly, Mike, when did you mix the diesel supers and the alkies again? Is that 4 years ago now?
Well, but we've only pulled them together 2 years because we missed the 1 year for COVID.
That's right.
So the first year we ended up lucky. We ended up 3 diesels, 3 alcohols. Last year, the diesels kind of ruled the track.
Yep. And I know that makes those diesel guys happy, right, Charles? So.
It might, but I guess what I would kind of be curious about, and I don't know if anybody's looked this far ahead, what's the weather look like for that night at this point? Because I feel like when it's super cold, it kind of hampers the alcohol burners.
Yes, and I agree with the, and we're going to at least have 2 days of cold weather that week, whether it's the beginning or the end.
Mike, the most important question I'm going to ask you tonight, is it Louisville, or Louisville? How do you say it, Mike?
It just depends on how much bourbon you've had to drink.
You just made Bruce's night. So.
Mike, you and I will at some point become very good friends. I'm sure of it.
All right.
That's Mazomania, Wisconsin. It's cold in Wisconsin right now, Whit. I'm not lying to you, buddy. So
it's cold in Iowa too.
We're going to get some snow and ice here tonight. So it's cold. Yes, it's only like 32 right now, but we're in that 2 to 3 day swing. We'll get 3 days of 20s and 30s, and then it'll be 3 days of 40s and 50s. So it's just what happens here.
Yeah, right now it's trending Monday the 13th. Obviously, that's when pullers will start coming in Monday and Tuesday, seeing a high of 55, low in the 40s. So that's what the 10 days showing us right now. So good to know that as well. Travis Schlabos has made me smile last year when those 6 diesel supers were in the finals. That's good stuff. So, Mike, who are all the committee members on your team that helped put on the National Farm Machinery Show truck and tractor pull?
Dan Christiani, Gail Medford, and myself, and then Danny Jr. Christiani, and Justin Atchison, that he helps with us too. So we lean on some other people that's behind the scenes for information throughout the year.
Is it monthly meetings, Mike? How often do you guys get together? How are decisions made? Kind of what are some of your, what goes on behind the scenes that you can tell us without having us make a sign a waiver? So.
No, I mean, if we're going to make changes, we'll get together and discuss it. And that's why I usually myself and 2 or 3 of us will show up at a few pools in the summertime to see what's happening and what the trends are changing, to try to stay ahead for February, because it seems like every year the rules get changed and we're the very first ones out of the box. But realistically, we run on last year's rules, and we let the new rules not really take effect until, June and July, and get them behind us.
Okay. I never thought of that before with the new rule changes. You are the first ones. You're kind of in the crosshairs, Mike.
Yes. Every year, the new rules come out, and then everybody comes to Louisville in February, and they can discuss them and the goods and the bads of all of it.
Good. How much involvement do you have, like with the big 3, the Outlaws, the PPL, and the NTPA, on picking classes or picking pullers, or is it pretty much whoever sends their entries in? Is there a general philosophy? I don't want to get into too much detail, but what's a general philosophy overall? Because you hear over the years, it's a popularity contest, or it's a show, or it's the best of the best. Do you guys have a general consensus, Mike, or a general philosophy for that?
Yes. And I mean, each class is a little different, because your Outlaws do not run some of the classes that PPL run and NTPA run. And, a couple of years ago, we switched the mod tractors to really cater more to NTPA's mod class, just for the building safety and of that nature. So there's certain classes we lean one way or the other. Super Farm, we lean towards NTPA. We lean the other way on some of the other classes. But when we're selecting, depending on the class is how we go about it. But we try to get about the even numbers from your 3 main organizations.
Got it. Like it. I like it a lot. Let's see here. Mick Broughton says, last year, first day was amazing, 70 degrees. I remember that.
That was nice.
John Stranley wants to know, Mike, how long have you been involved with the Louisville pool?
I've been involved behind the scenes since the mid 80s with the Owensboro guys that started the Farm Machinery Show. When I used to pull indoors with TNT Motorsports, it was the same guys. And I started pulling in like 1980, 81, 82 with TNT. So I traveled with them. And then over the years, every year in February, I'd go in and help them behind the scenes. You just didn't see me. And eventually they got old enough, and they asked Danny and myself to get a group of guys together to start helping them for 3 or 4 years. Then they would help us transition. And that's how it all came about.
Your truck was called Stomper, right?
That was the monster truck that I drove.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I drove 2 different monster trucks. I had a pulling truck that had a Chevrolet dealership name on it. It was a 1972 Chevrolet. And I ran super stock gas. It was a 360 cubic inch 1.4 barrel Rule.
Did you have anything to do with you had run some exhibition trucks? The fire truck, I think, was one.
Yes, I ran for TNT Motorsports. I had my own truck for 5 years, and then I started working for TNT, driving the monster truck, the fire truck, 2-wheel drive exhibition truck, and they had an old beer truck like a 32 model Mack, and we would haul those around to do exhibition and do a lot of displays.
Nice.
Mike, is that Stomper that I have on the screen right there? Can you tell?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
That's the Stomper Bully was the first truck, and after about 2 years, Chevrolet came out with the new body style, and the toy company switched the name to Stomper and changed the paint scheme. So I drove a truck, the monster truck, for 5 years.
Is it as rough in a monster truck as it looks like it would be, Mike?
Well, back in those days, it was just leaf springs. There was no nitrogen shocks. I mean, I really should be about 6'4". But
I love it. I love it. If anybody has any questions for Mike Whitt, committee member of the National Farm Machinery Show, please type them into the comments. That'd be great. We're just having a little bit of fun tonight promoting the show. So your overall ticket sales are feeling really good about this year's event, Mike?
yes, they are above and beyond from last year. I do know that.
Good. George Smith says, "Was the best what is the best poll you have seen?" I'm not sure what he's asking. I'm gonna let him retype that into the questions. Go through all these here. If on a full house, like on a Saturday night or a Friday night, when you sell out, Mike, how many tickets actually is that?
You're a little over 15,000.
15,000. Okay.
Yes.
I've heard between 13 and 17, but now we know for sure.
See, last year we did away with the bottom 2 rows around the arena and using a little bit bigger concrete walls, barrier walls. So we lost, I'm not sure exactly how many seats, but every year we've lost, we keep making a few changes, safety issues. So you keep losing seats. When they first started, it used to be up to about 17,000. And then they've rearranged and, you lose a few.
That's awesome. Let's see here. Mick Broughton says, say a puller gets invited and then they cancel for whatever reason. Is their spot filled or do they just pull the class with less vehicles?
We just pull the class with less vehicles because normally by that time, the paperwork has already been mailed out. It's received back and it's, we're too far in to go backwards and pull somebody else in. And normally we've always just left that spot open.
Okay. Great. Brandon Gillen says, my dad pulled there in 1979. Brandon has the Oso Negro 3-engine modified, I think out of Texas. Is that where he's from, Bruce?
I believe so, yes.
I think that's where Brandon's from. Here's a good question. Colin Burkholtz. Mike, what would be the biggest non-social media age new tractor unveil at Louisville that got everybody buzzing? Do you remember, were there any new vehicles that were unveiled before Facebook that were like, holy cow, everybody was excited and had their Polaroid cameras out?
Maybe when, say, like Bruce Hutchison showed up with the 4-engine mod, Tim Engler. I think Bruce was one of the first that showed up with the 4-engine mod. And that would have probably been one of the biggest ones that I can remember myself.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see here as I flip through the questions. Again, if you're just joining us, Mike Whitt, he's a committee member of the National Farm Machinery Show. The big Super Bowl of polling is coming up in 2 weeks, February 15th through the 18th. If you're looking for tickets, go to champpoll.org. I'll put Brian Lively's comment back up. Bruce or Charles, if you have any questions, go ahead and jump in. I'm just flipping through everything. I want to make sure all the comments have been answered so far.
Yeah, I've got one. You mentioned you go to some outdoor hooks and it's you scouting what's going on. But I also wonder, you guys have been so good about being the gold standard of efficiency and putting on an event, and you've had the same venue to be able to understand the logistics of how to make that happen. But is there a piece of advice you could give to another promoter based on what you've seen? Like, here's how to run a real fast, real efficient event from what you've seen.
Well, you have to use the same guys year after year. And we're fortunate enough that, like our tractor drivers, Sylvester Fisher, he always would get his group from Owensboro, which is 100 miles to the west. They come in and they do all the towing of the vehicles in and out from Broadbent, getting them weighed, and that group takes care of themselves. And they might bring one new person in with them each year, or they know where to put him until he's used to what's going on. I've got multiple friends that offer all the time, but I could see them going down the ramp and inside Freedom Hall, and when they pull out in front of all the stands of the people sitting there, they're going to lock up. So there you've got somebody sitting on a tractor that's looking around and waving. But you have to, we try to bring in different tech officials from each organization. So if a puller shows up, they at least know somebody to go talk to if they don't want to come to myself or Danny or Gail. And that gives them somebody familiar to go and see. So we try to bring in, have enough group that everybody feels welcome. And as far as answering your question about a pull, to keep it going, you almost need somebody on the starting line to keep the vehicles to the sled as quick as they come back. What slows a lot of it down, I think, is your live streaming and your TV. And your TV wants to slow it down somewhat, and I can understand that part of it.
Interesting. I've never heard that commentary before. I'll take that under advisement. I like that.
A lot of questions. Where are the mini rods at, Mike?
Well, they used to run them there years ago, and the board, the fair board at the expo center sits. Some of those guys still do not want mini rods. I'll just put it like that, because we have gone to them before, offered the classes, and yes, the fairgrounds has the final say of everything we do. We have a couple meetings a year, and they'll ask, what's changing? What would we like to change? What do they need to change? And we've offered the minis to them a couple times, and they've just, they say it's a farm show, diesel. That's what they really like to see.
Well, and I think I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, I talked with some people that went to was Mac Trailer Winter Nationals. They said it was a completely different fan scene than it was maybe from the farm show, Mike, is what I've heard from people. Nothing official, but maybe the truckers aren't farmers and the farmers aren't truckers, and they kind of like different things. So.
Right. And now with Mike and them doing the truck show pull, and they have kind of picked up on the mini rods and the semis, that's given, even if we have people that's coming to both shows, it's given them different vehicles. And so it's working, for the building. You're going to get to see everything. You just have to come to 2 different weekends.
Yep. And is it okay to announce the dates for I know the dates. I think I know the dates, or should we not talk about it yet for the Mac Trailer one?
No, you can on here, I think. I mean, it's just as long as it's not advertised on TV. That's where I think the problem is.
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Ott. I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll lay low on that one. I don't like to make the Mikes mad that run Louisville, if you know what I'm saying. So it doesn't go in your favor. Derek Schweiger, he's watching on YouTube, and he says, Mike, what are your thoughts on pulling the opposite way like they did for the Mac trailer pull?
Well, here's a couple problems that it creates. Our smoke tube is made to go the opposite direction, and the tube itself is centered. So when we're running towards the sand pile, and years ago, that's the way they started. So they've always kept that concept. To change it around, we need another 20 feet of pipe on the starting line. But what it does, it gives you too much pipe on the finish line. So then you're going to have your pipe, it'll be kinking it. So it's not going to work. So realistically, it works better running towards the sand than it does the ramp.
That's a brilliant explanation. I never even considered any of that. That's a real logistical thing.
Well, it's fun to ask somebody who actually is there. You know what I mean? And not just not pulloff.com or whatever. So this is fun to have.
And that building has it built in. I mean, there aren't many places on the planet. Everywhere else you go, it's temporary. Like, it's permanent to the building that's there.
Yes, they just did an upgrade. It was about 7-8 years ago that literally cut the floor inside Freedom Hall, changed the pipe, and it runs back through an old boiler system tunnel to the basement, across the basement, and then up two stories outside the building. And then our fan sits up on top of the back side of the building.
Yep.
Is it true, Mike, that every year somebody calls the fire department the first time somebody goes down the track?
The fire department has showed up at the back of Freedom Hall multiple times throughout the year. And I usually get it somebody on the radio telling me to get to the back, and then we ask a fireman if they at least pull the trucks up a little bit so we can keep on running. So,
Yep.
But we do have a Kentucky State Fire Marshal that's on the grounds that works with us every year, and he's normally down on the track during the show each night.
Love it. Mick Broughton, this is a good question. With a lot of members working farm show for so long, is there young blood being filtered in to keep the legacy alive forever?
Yes. We're bringing in new ones, not every year, but we've got 2 or 3 that's working with us. And even like the tow drivers, they're bringing their sons, and some of them's even brought their grandsons in. So, yes, we're working to keep a younger group behind us.
Have you picked your announcers for this year yet?
Yes, it'll be Dan Mayer, Miles Krieger, and Leslie Mears.
Nice. There you go. I know that was one of the questions we had. So, and everybody, guys, I'm not going to ask Mike Whitt what his favorite class is, you don't have to promoter of an event of the Super Bowl Floyd what his favorite class is, because he's for sure going to say diesel supers and he's going to piss everybody off. Okay, so that's just how that works.
Pretty much. Right.
Mike, Travis Schlab, he's the mayor of Marengo, Iowa, and that's where I was born. So I'm a big diesel super guy because of the bone twister. Okay, so I suck up to Travis a lot. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I know Travis very well.
Yep, he watches our show every Monday night. Allison watches Dancing with the Stars or The Bachelor or something, and he sits over in his chair and he with his iPad, and he enjoys our show. So it's always a good time to have him there. So. Guys, we got Mike Whitt on the show for just joining us. He's a committee member of the National Farm Machinery Show Truck and Tractor Pull, the biggest and baddest indoor pull in the world. I'll throw it out there and say it, and it's all eyes are on the farm show every Valentine's Day, I like to call it, and it's a lot of fun. If you have any questions for Mike, please type them into the comments or chats, and we'll be sure to ask him out there and have some fun like that. Mike, where do the dirt, this is where I'm trying to go, where'd the dirt come from, and do you guys like hide it and store it and like in a safe somewhere so nobody touches it?
Yes, we do store it in a building, and it's on the property there at the facility. The dirt originally came from Bardstown, Kentucky, out of the rock quarry, just Kentucky red clay, say 54 years ago. Well, every year not every year, but every 8 to 10 years, we'll add maybe 10 to 15 tracks of loads of dirt to it. And we usually go back to the same rock quarry and get the same dirt, and then Danny will take it to his dirt processing place over in Indiana, screens it to get the rock out, and we store it in a building. It's a building on the other side of I-65, but it's on state property, and there's a viaduct back there that you never have to get on off on any other roads or anything to get to it. It's right adjoining the property.
Gotcha.
How is it that every time, it comes out of the building and it goes back in every year, and it seems like the lines that work to get across that track and have a good run always seem to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 different spots, and that's been that way for 30 years. What's the magic that makes that be a reality?
I'd like to know, because I've thought about it a whole lot, and I've literally been on a tractor and helped work the track during the day, and it's we're not doing anything different than anybody else does to their track. We're ripping it, we'll till it, we put water in it, rip it some more, till it, and you put it back down, roll it in, and it seems like those paths come back every time. I don't know if it's the wind that comes in the back door, the way that it comes down and dries it out, or and it stays moisture on one side or the other, but there's certain paths there that will work.
There's guys who are going to come in there and try to laser the concrete floor before the dirt gets laid and try to figure that one out.
Speaking of that, Cortland Bowles wants to know, what is the average time to set up and prep the track, Mike? Like, when will they start building the track, and when would it be ready to go?
Well, Monday morning, the week of, we'll normally start hauling the dirt in. Takes 4 hours to 4.5 hours, and then we'll start, literally ripping it, tilling it, putting the water to it. And well, like for the truck show last year, they did a concert on Friday night. It was over about 10 o'clock. By 11:30, everything was out of the building. At 1, we started putting concrete barriers in. Smoke tube went in, and dirt started coming in at 4 a.m. and we pulled at 5 o'clock that afternoon.
It's amazing. I've seen, like, back when Louisville still played there, the actual college team, I remember being there on Saturday nights, Mike, and as soon as the Pro Stock guys were done with their Saturday night final speech, you guys were ripping and pulling track out. It's incredible. So.
Well, last year, Bellarmine College uses the Freedom Hall now for their college Division I basketball. Last year on Sunday, they had a game like at 2:30 or 3, and this year they're doing the same thing. So we get to go again all night Saturday night.
Wow.
That was an impressive time lapse video that the farm show or the fair board posted.
Yeah, that was. I remember seeing that. I'm gonna go look for that.
Usually by 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, we have everything out of the building, and they're starting to clean.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
How long, Mike? How long has it been since you drove a pulling vehicle and/or monster truck? That's a question.
Ooh. Monster truck would be since probably 91, 92, and a pulling vehicle would before then would have been back probably 88, 89.
And
what was your favorite place to hook last?
Yeah.
What was your favorite place to hook?
Oh, I mean, I drove a 4-wheel drive truck there at the Farm Machinery Show one year. That's, right in your backyard at hometown. It doesn't get any better than that.
Mike, have you ever thought of selling small jars of dirt and proceeds go to a local charity? That's some hardcore fulling pans would love to have. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could. I really never thought about it. I mean, it's just red clay is all it is.
But Mike, it's Louisville dirt, buddy. I mean, you got to take it seriously here. So I'm just saying. So, no, if you ever need good ideas, Mike, you come to Let's Grow Pulling. I shouldn't say good ideas, Charles. What's the best way? Unique ideas.
Unique is a good way. It's good. That's a good choice of phrase. Unique is good.
And Mike, if you ever decide you start doing that, I guess I probably owe you about $5 because I might have a little teeny tiny jar with a couple of pieces of Louisville dirt in it.
That's why they got to add 15 new loads every year, Ryan, because you guys are taking it all. So
yeah, because we got to shake it out of our cameras when we're done.
Yes.
How many trucks and tractors show up every year? What's the total vehicle count, Mike? Do you know off the top of your head?
196.
196. There it is. Cortland Boyles. Mike, if you had a chance to pull again today, what would you hook and what track would you pick?
I would.
Cortland, what are you doing?
Stole your question, man. Coming in hot.
Mike, that's the one that I usually always ask.
I'd like a Pro Stock tractor and someplace outdoors, like a Bowling Green track or something that's equivalent to a Louisville track, that's Chapel Hill. I don't know, Travis's tractor wouldn't be too bad either, a diesel super. So Just throwing it out there.
Well,
You still got a fire suit?
Oh yes, I doubt if it would pass inspection though. It's probably too old.
I don't know, you and I are about the same size. I think you could borrow mine. We'll get you set up with Travis.
I love this. Travis says, I don't have that many years of experience down there, but the opening ceremonies will always send chills down your spine. So that is so true. So true. RJ Simon wants to know if you've ever heard of Farley, Iowa, Whitt. You ever heard of Farley, Iowa?
RJ knows I've been to Farley before.
I think he got his feelings hurt because you didn't say Farley when you said Bowling Green or Chapel Hill. RJ's pretty sensitive. You got to be careful what you say on the show. He'll blow up your Snapchat if you're not careful.
Maybe RJ was offering if you come back to Farley in the spring or in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could show up unexpected to him.
I wouldn't put it past him either. And hey, you and I both know he'd do it.
So, yeah, I've already talked to him. Well, today even once already. So he'll be calling tomorrow to rub it in.
Shane Hunt says, what's your opinion, honestly, of how the monster trucks have progressed since you drove last? Have you kept up with all that?
Yes, they have progressed probably more than anything in motorsports for the nitrogen shocks. And now the way they do their tricks and wheel stands and like you're riding a four-wheeler. I mean, it's unbelievable just to watch what some of those drivers are able to do.
Yeah. Jordan Medley said it best. RJ has enough equipment, Mike. There is your free ride. So yeah, just go to the Simon shop and just point at something. So, what's RJ's sign? Everything's for sale, but not on sale. That's what
right.
RJ says. Yep,
that's right.
So.
Mike, what are some of the greatest moments that you've ever seen happen on that track?
Ooh, here we go.
One would be like Don Masterson and Wayne Sullivan on the same night. Yep. Two of the legends, of the motorsports. It's been around forever. Both winning. That one probably is at the top.
Yeah, Don Masterson in the finals on a Saturday night is like it's like 1 second left on the clock and you're down by one and you have one free throw or two free throws. It's that magical. It's that magical, Mike. It's just that gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. So.
It's not dirt on the hood. It's winter sprinkles.
Yep. Miles Krieger, so glad you guys got Mike on. He truly makes a job that is very difficult look easy. Lots and lots of long days and hours. So,
thank you.
Cortland Boyles. Man, Cortland's coming in hard tonight with questions. For someone who's never been to the farm show, what is something you would say is a must do, Mike? If you've never been to the farm show, what's something you have to do?
I mean, at the facility, there's a lot of people that never even make it to Broadbent Arena and have no idea what's going on with the tractor pull. There's so many people that come in and out to just see the equipment, and every once in a while they'll stumble into Broadbent and want to know what's going on and not even aware there's a truck and tractor pull.
Yeah. I'm just glad, Mike, that the farm show realizes that a tractor pull should be part of something like this, because I've always been frustrated over the years, like with the farm progress shows and stuff like that, where Tucker's tried to have that Illinois, Iowa deal, and there's 400,000 people in one day, 5 miles away, but they never put them together, and that's always frustrated me, and that's why I've always loved about the farm show. You have the show during the day, and then you have the tractor, the truck and tractor pull at night. And I hope it always stays that way. What came first, Mike? Did the farm show come first, or did the tractor pull come first?
The farm show came first, and the farm show originated in Lexington, Kentucky, with a electrical co-op, and they were doing electrical, trying to get. That's when electric was just starting to get in your rural areas. So the electrical co-op was doing a fair and explaining the electric, and then your farm equipment people would show up, and then the Kentucky State Fair. They went there, so they combined to have the Kentucky State Fair and the electrical co-op. Well, that next year they said we're going to do the farm show. So they've had the farm show for 2 years, and then that summer there was one of the state fair employees at Owensboro, Kentucky, and he was standing at the fence talking to Billy Joe because the young farmers of whatever the county is, I just went blank, in Owensboro was having a tractor pull at the county fair. And he says, why can't we have this at the farm machinery show? So that's how the farm machinery show was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, but it was 2 years after the farm show.
There you go. That's the history I wanted to get out. That's the history I want to get out. Colin Burkholt says, got to eat the ice cream. Everybody loves the ice cream. I wonder how many, do you have any idea how many gallons of ice cream are sold there, Mike?
No, but I do know the farm show sells more ice cream than I think the state fair and the North American livestock and your concerts, anything else going on.
Okay.
Jason, I've got that answer. Hang on. I'm digging for a blog post that I wrote last year about it.
Okay. I think that's something good. Because Tucker always used to say about Gordyville that more beer is drank in Gordyville in those 4 days than the Illinois State Fair combined in 10. So Poland fans, they can eat ice cream and drink beer. So it's all good. So it is all good. I'm going to pull some video up of 2022. Let it play in the background here. Again, Mike Whitt's with us, everybody. Committee member of the National Farm Machinery Show, the Super Bowl of polling coming up in 2 weeks, February 15th through the 18th. You can get all your information and your tickets still available. There are tickets still available at champpoll.org. And Louisville's a big town, guys. You can get a hotel. You might have to drive 10, 15 miles, but you'll get a hotel. So don't. Yeah. If you can get down there, get down there. This is Louisville is amazing. It's just, it gives you goosebumps talking about it. And when we've interviewed a lot of pullers, Mike, and coming down the ramp from Broadbent outside down into the Freedom Hall, that is always the magical. If you have a Disney moment, Mike, the magical moment is when people get inside Freedom Hall and they look around. I mean, that's still what I'll remember that the rest of my life. It's amazing. So,
pro tip: you can stay 15 minutes away out in Hurstbourne. The restaurants are good, and you'll not get overcharged on the hotel room. That's what I do when I go down. It's worth it.
Same.
Kevin Lindstrom says cookies and cream. Okay, now we're picking our favorite kinds of ice cream. All right, get them out there, guys. Get them out there. Okay, throw that in. The answer is 3,500 gallons of ice cream.
That was confirmed last year with one of the owners of Erler's Ice Cream.
Erler's, yeah.
And if I remember correctly, butter pecan is the one they sell the most of.
Makes sense. Yeah, Mick Broughton says butter pecan. Yep, get your comments in here. Mike, do you ever get a chance to get ice cream, or are you just too busy?
No, I might get an ice cream at the rodeo or state fair or something like that, but I usually don't stop for an ice cream that week.
You don't have time. Apple Cobbler Crunch is another one we got up on the screen right now. So that's good. Diesel Superstock trucks. That's kind of before the fuel, the duel of the fuels. It was diesel trucks were added. What before that, Mike? I mean, have you always had the Saturday afternoon? What are some things that have kind of evolved in the last maybe 10, 15 years with the show?
Well, see, years ago, we only had 3 classes, and we would run 16 to a class. And then when we dropped back to the 4 classes, that's when we were able to add the 4-wheel drive diesel pickups. We brought the 4-wheel drive alcohol trucks back. When we've added, limited pro, light pro, by, going to a little bit smaller class, but that 4th class a night.
Have Pro Stocks always been the most popular class you feel there at Louisville? Or is that a fair question?
Yes, I think so. Even I've had original tickets since 1977 inside Freedom Hall, and I still buy my own tickets, and every ticket I have, I pay for myself. I mean, the fairgrounds gives us no tickets at all. Everything that comes through the door is paid for.
Gotta love the government, but you don't say that, Mike, because I don't want the governor calling you. I don't want you getting in trouble.
What's it mean to you guys to have a long tenured partner like Syngenta be behind this and make this go for you guys?
I mean, they've been committed for a lot of years, and they do step up to the plate for us every year. So it's good to work with them, which the facility works with them, and I've met one or two of them, but very seldom ever, there's a lot of years I never see anybody to meet from Syngenta at all, because they're doing their thing and we're doing ours.
Fair. I'm glad they could be a partner for so long as they have. It might be one of the longest title sponsorships in the sport, honestly.
So yes, it is.
Mike, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want, but this is something I know that people want to know. But again, with being the committee, but now the hard question: how do you only give Light Super 1 year with 2 sessions? And again, if you want to walk from that, we can, but I at least want to put it on the screen.
Well, what we look at is the number of applications we get for other classes. And with the limited pros, we were getting, 64 to 70 applications and only taking 12. And the light supers, when the numbers are down and it's hard to fill 2 classes, you can't stay with them. You've got to, take a step back and go a different direction.
Thank you for answering that, because I know it's nice to have you on here, because everybody has their own thought or their own rumor or whatever. But thank you for tackling that head on. I appreciate you doing that. Here's a good one. This is a good fan. Not everybody knows this. Do the pollers have to write a letter to be invited to the poll? If so, what do you look for in the letter? I've always heard that I've always heard that's how you get invited. Can you talk about the process?
No, you can pull an application off the website. National Farm Machinery Show tractor pull. You can pull your application off, fill it out, and send it right in. What we look for is the amount of pulls you go to for the total year, the places you're going to pull, and the size of the venue and who you're pulling against. If you're staying with your local state organization and pulling with them, you're less likely to get in unless where you're going to a Grand National or PPO, your top series. So you're running with the tougher competition, and we're going to look at it. And we look at every application, and we'll have 2 or 3 laptop computers going, looking at keeping up with the points to see who's won the points in this region or in this series, to see who has the best record to get them in Louisville. I'm not saying we don't make a mistake every once in a while, but we do the best we can do.
Well said. And that's a great question, Mark. I always assume that everybody knows, but as Mike was talking, I went to National Farm Machinery Show, the website, and I pull up, this is the application that the pullers fill out. And I will tell you that if you get accepted, you get a big yellow manila envelope in the mail. And if you don't, you just get a little white letter. So that's how you know, right when you open the mailbox. And it's funny every year. And you guys, it's an honor to get invited to this show, obviously. And every year you start, the guys that live closer to Louisville start posting that they got accepted, and that everybody else that lives farther away, like, okay, 2 days, I'll find out if I made it or not. So it's kind of fun, Mike. To watch that progress go on social media when people start posting. So
it's, a lot of people think that we need to go to the internet and email them and the applications in and out.
Nope.
And do all of it electronic. But I think part of it is still the history of the pull itself, is mailing that application in, getting accepted, and getting that letter back in the mail is part of the process.
Yep. No, keep that original, because that's great, Mike. That is absolutely great.
I can only imagine how many first timers have that acceptance letter framed, hanging on the wall in their office or sitting in their shop.
Mike, do you get a lot of do you get many? What year was it that the guys from the Netherlands came over? I feel like for a while, Mike, that there'd be 3 or 4 vehicles going over to Ahoy, or I think it's always Ahoy after the farm show. The announcers would always talk about that. Do you get a lot of pullers from Europe that try to get to the farm show, or not really?
It's, the expense is so great. And with here lately with COVID and everything else going on, it's hard for them to ship them over. Where the guys going over there, they have sponsors over there that'll pick up their expense and pay for getting everything shipped over there. We just do not have anybody over here to pick up that expense to bring them over. And that's part of it right there.
Jason, I believe 2018 was the last year we had anybody.
Okay.
I think.
Now we got people talking about pork chop sandwiches. Yeah, put your favorite food at Louisville in here, guys. There's that one gal that says 2 drinks per person, and you can't trick her. I've tried every trick in the book, and she keeps an eye on you. She keeps an eye on you, Charles. So
I'd behave myself when I'm down there. I'm there to work.
Yep, same here.
Robert Danner says, which classes have the most applicants?
The Super Farm, Limited Pro, and 2-wheel drive trucks.
Okay.
And on all 3 of them will be real close to the same.
Awesome. What year did they put the smoke tube in, Mike? Do you remember?
In the floor? I mean, well, it's been in the floor for the last 30 plus years. But like 8 years ago, we cut the floor and we went from a 20-inch pipe to 36. When that elbow goes down into the floor, that's a 24-inch pipe on top of the floor, and it's 20-inch up on the sled to 24, and then when it goes into the elbow, it goes to 36-inch pipe, and that 36-inch pipe runs back through the building about 400 foot before it gets outside through the fan. And if you're standing outside, I mean, I've literally watched them before. You can hear the tractor spool up, take off, go down the track, and he is slowing down and spinning out. About the time he's down throttling, you'll start to see the smoke.
Yeah, I shot a video from outside last year doing Saturday afternoon pro stock, and yeah, you're right. It's about 15 to 20 seconds before what you hear catches up with what you see.
Yes.
And that's just one fan pulling that all out? Is
Yes.
that from the end, or is wow?
One fan from the end.
That's got to be a tremendous machine.
It's a pretty good little fan. I think it's a 75 horse motor on it.
Wow.
It's 3 stories up in the air.
Wow.
Well, let's see here. I'm just flipping through comments, guys. Sorry, I'm being quiet.
You're good. I'll try to find you that video from the building. I'll throw that up if I can find it quickly.
Mike, I always know you're busy, obviously, during the event, but did you get a chance to see any of the tweets that young lady did on your guys' Twitter, the National Farm Machinery Show Twitter, where she puts up the distances? Did you get to see any of that last year?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, it is super funny. Like, she'll take the name of the tractor, like Super Rooster, and then she'll make like a little funny cartoon. And it had the last year a guy or a little kid chasing a little chicken around a little farmyard, and then she puts up the distance, and she kind of plays with the names of the trucks from the tractors. It was really, really funny last year, keeping up with her on that. So I want to give her a shout out. Did we have her on the show?
We did. And as a matter of fact, since you brought her up, the farm show is actually giving away a 4-pack of tickets for Wednesday night. They just announced it tonight, or maybe this afternoon. I know I shared it out on my profile. Obviously, I'm not looking for tickets, but for those of you who want a shot at winning a set of 4 tickets to the Wednesday night session, go hit up the farm shows page and do what they tell you to do, and they'll get it entered and they'll get that all taken care of.
So Bauer's trailer is not. So you guys don't use Bauer's smoke machine, Mike? Is one of the questions we have.
No, Vaughn's smoke machine will be here as a backup.
Okay.
His smoke tube and our smoke tube are the same. So if we need anything, we've got enough smoke tube for 2 systems of our own. But we also bring his trailer in for the fan. So if our fan were to go down, I'm not saying we might be able to get going that night, but the very next day we'll be able to go again.
Gotcha. Over the years, have you had some smoke machines breakdowns where you just couldn't finish, Mike?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. We've had major headaches with smoke tube and fans and over the years.
But you guys have just hopefully just keep, knock on wood, just keeps getting better and better, and be good to go. So.
Well, it's and the tractors, they're putting out more smoke and more pressure, and it's hard to keep up with when you've got a smoke machine in the building, in the floor. It's permanent in there. It's hard to keep upgrading it as well as everybody's upgrading their pulling tractor.
Gotcha. Agreed. Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead and put your video up, bud.
Found from this is what it looks like from outside Freedom Hall.
We always joke it's when they elect a new pope.
Yeah, they elect a new pope.
It's just like watching the dyno, Charles.
And you can watch the cutoff and how the smoke rises out from when the tractor stopped pushing it to when the fan just took over to exhaust it.
Years ago, the outlet was on the side of the building, halfway down over the top of the west wing. So you couldn't really see it. And years ago, we used to have like grain fans for grain dryers. And we'd have, at one time, there was like 5 fans back there, all hooked together. So this is 100% better than what we've had before.
That's great. Okay, Mike, you said earlier it's 196 contestants or participants. On average, how many total entries over all the classes do you think you get each year, roughly?
There'll be a little over 300.
Okay. Awesome. Ryan Zolik, do you know who has pulled down the track the most in the history of the championship pull?
Who? As an individual or as a tractor?
What do you think he wants, Charles? Probably tractor.
Tractor.
No, probably individual.
Tractor will be the tractor of Russell Couches.
Yep.
That one's because Don Masterson's had it. I know that one would be, as far as individual, I'm not sure. Maybe Don Masterson, Wayne Sullivan.
Those would probably be the top 2.
That would.
I don't disagree with you on that one at all.
That was my thought too.
Who lives the closest out of the pullers that compete there? Who lives the closest
this year? Probably Brandon and Larry Phillips.
Okay. Doug Borth, how many ceiling tiles would you go through a year before they were taken down?
Well, they've always taken, back in the 70s and 80s, they would leave them even in the center, and you would, usually lose 8 or 10 a year. And then they started taking just the center section out over the top of the track, and you'd still lose maybe 1 or 2. So I'm just guessing on those numbers, but just from sitting there watching, the whole weekend,
Yep.
maybe 8 or 10.
Kevin Lindstrom wants to know how many rolls of tape were used during the pull back in the day.
Back
A
in the
lot.
day, well, there's, I think, 16 rows to a case, and a lot of times we'll start with 30 cases. It'll give you a good idea.
Wow. 480. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Andy Gerbaugh's got the third name that I was thinking of. Benny McKinnon probably went down that place a lot.
Brian Lively says Bill Leichner is pulling his 40th consecutive year in 2023.
Wow.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, guys, I told Mike approximately an hour. We're at an hour.
Yeah.
So if you have any final questions for Mike, please type them into the comments because he's a busy guy. And I know RJ's probably got to talk to RJ Simon yet tonight, don't you think? Mike, you think I'll call you?
I'm sure he'll call in a few minutes.
If you ever need somebody to mess with RJ, we'll put his cell phone number out on the internet. Don't worry, Mike. You let me know. You let me know.
I'm sure everybody.
Remember, you still want to buy a toter from him, so maybe don't mess with him before you bought that.
No, I'm gonna. There's a whole customer thing there in that particular instance. Okay, so it's all good. So,
fair enough.
How old is the dirt? How old is the dirt? Is what question we have.
Well, I mean, we added 22 loads 2 years ago, probably, and then if you backed up another 10 years, we added 15 loads back then. And see where the dirt goes. We don't really lose that much dirt, but they have lawn and garden shows, state fair, different shows like that. And with the dirt back there in the building, every once in a while you go back and there's another bucket gone. You know, a front end loader just happened to grab 2 yards of dirt, and little by little, you know, it just disappears.
That should be a crime, Mike. Do they know that's sacred dirt?
Well, and then there's 2 more buildings there that hold the dirt for the horse arenas and the cattle shows. And then they've got another pile of dirt outside that they use for like Monster Jam and motocross. So there's realistically 3 different stocks, you know, piles of dirt.
Nice. Well, Mike, thank you for your time tonight. This means the world to us that you came on. We're super excited. I'm glad you answered my phone call today because I know your phone's blowing up right now. And we're looking forward to seeing you for a few weeks, in a few weeks. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks, Mike. RJ, you can call Mr. Whitt now. So,
all right.
Thank you, Mike.
See you, bud.
Take care.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
That was super cool. I'm glad he did that. I texted him right away this morning, then I called him this afternoon. He's like, yeah. What do I got to do? It was kind of funny. So it was good. Hey, while we're talking Louisville, everybody, we have 300 spots total available for our pullers happy hour the Thursday, the 16th from 2 to 4. Over half the spots are full. So if you're a puller competing at Louisville this coming in 2 weeks, I need you to go to that Eventbrite website, get signed up for that, and so you get your tickets on there. It's free, and it's 2 people per pulling vehicle. We have room for about 300 people. There's a big announcement coming for the sport of pulling. It's not one specific for an organization. It's good for everybody. And again, it has nothing to do with Louisville. It has nothing to do with the farm show specifically, but they're choosing to roll this event out, or this new announcement coming to pulling that Thursday. And I can put that link in there as well. So doing that. So Charles took off on us, Ryan. So what did you learn anything here tonight, guys, talking to Mike or listening to Mike? What'd you learn, Charles? What'd you learn, Ryan?
Nothing particularly. Reinforced a lot about what I've believed about that event and how it operates. And nice to hear some of the irresponsible speculation that goes on laid to rest about how it operates. Hear it right from the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't realize where all that dirt came from. I knew that it was sacred ground, and I knew that it was, that it was 40 to 50-year-old dirt, plus or minus. But I didn't know that it came from the fount of where all good things come from in Kentucky, Bardstown. I thought that was kind of neat.
It did kind of surprise me that he had no, and maybe he obfuscated that there was no secret sauce to the line through that building, because it really is a remarkable thing. You start out, you either run the right side chalk line, or you start in the middle and run that left fade, and that's how it happens, and it's always that way.
Yeah, more right brakes are used at Louisville than anywhere else in the history of pulling, Charles.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. It's true. And every year it's the same thing.
I'm glad he answered the light super question. I don't know, as we do more of these shows, I mean, we want these big names on our show, right? But then I don't want to be the Howard Stern shock jock and ask stupid questions. You know what I mean? I do read the questions. We all do, guys. I know that. We can all click them up on the screen. But I felt like that was an appropriate question. I knew Mike would answer that. I felt he would. It's a farm show, and it's for farmers and farmers like diesel. You know, I mean, I think you see that. I mean, you go to certain polls where the mini rods are going to be more popular or this or that. But I like how candid he was. They've been doing this. He's been doing this since the 80s, guys. He knows what he's talking about.
If you follow the mixed classes down through time, in the 90s, it was super stock. And in the double O's, it flipped to pro stock as far as the predominant mix of the class structure. And it fits the demographic. It just makes sense. If you're a hardcore pulling fan, maybe that isn't palatable to you, but you got to read the room and understand what your audience is for the event you're putting on.
Yep.
Again, they are trying to make money at this deal.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said they are trying to make money at this deal. This is not a charity show for, everybody. They're trying to make money, so they're catering to the crowd.
Tim Pysick says it drags you to the left because that's where the pack tractor always pulls off and comes onto the track.
I don't think he's wrong in that. That's somebody paying attention. He sees something there. I don't disagree with him. I think he's right. It still doesn't explain that right side rocket lane that exists over there if you can ride it.
Mr. Boris, how are you tonight?
Hello.
How'd the basketball game go?
We were up by 13 at halftime and we lost by 15.
What?
Yep. Kind of a debacle.
Shane Hunt, not going to lie, made me feel better about my process for the rankings show. Charles can relate to that a little bit.
Can verify.
That was good. I mean, I really feel like we asked a lot of good questions. The people watching asked a lot of good questions. We had a lot of people watching, so it was fun. I'm really glad he did that. We did confirm that we are going to have Dave Schreier on the show within the next month or so. Him and Chris, we're going to go to Toma. I'm going to sit with them. Doug's going to go up, and that'll be a fun show. Sit in Dave Schreier's house and do a show with him. So that's coming up as well. Doug, Mackenzie, Hope, Chandler, Dakota, and I are leaving for Zellwood, Florida Wednesday. The Zellwood Super Bowl is this Friday and Saturday, guys. So for those of you looking to get away from 0 degrees, head south to Zellwood, Florida. They're going to have garden tractors, antiques, smaller mini rods Friday and Saturday at 1 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock each night. It's the bigger show. Semi-trucks, the big mini rods, the diesel trucks, tractors, everything like that. There's more information at flpullers.com, and FL Pullers is their Facebook page as well. I'm just trying to go through all my notes in my brain, guys, before we start talking about Light Pros going component, and Colin Burkholz just went whoop, 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 whoop. So I don't know. See, Adam Wilson says he's going to talk to his wife to see if he can make the trip to Florida. Sounds good. Hey, Ryan, are you going to the Iowa Farm Show?
Yep, I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, and Rob Snake, I'm announcing in Zellwood. And Snake, Rob Rasnick, light striking distance mini rod puller, asked me if Chuck Hobbs can help announce. And I said, absolutely. He knows those mini rods, and that'll be good to have two of us yakking down there. And the weather's in the 70s so far, so that's good. I like that. Stacy and Jeff, or our store lock friends, say thumbs up, Roos. What is the Iowa Farm Show, Roos?
Iowa Power Farming Show. It's the third biggest indoor farm show in the country. So kicks off tomorrow. We'll be we're upstairs and kind of against the back wall, which is kind of not where we wanted to be, but we'll take it.
When you say we, I'm assuming you mean Tractor Zoom?
I do mean Tractor Zoom. Yep.
Perfect.
Cody will be there. He was setting up for it tonight. That's why he's not joining us today. So yeah, for those of you who happen to be dropping by, come over, say hi. And no, I'm not bringing extra swag.
You cheap prick.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Bradley Sturgeon's watching on YouTube, and he says Murfreesboro is this weekend as well. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Ben Hain, Southern Invitational down at Murfreesboro, Tennessee this weekend too, Friday, February 3rd and Saturday 4th. Absolutely. And that is a good pull. Holbrook's put that on, right, Charles? Is that Holbrook and Wombles? Are they behind that?
Yes, I believe that's correct. And it's a bucket list deal for me to get down there. Not going to happen this year, but one of these times I'm going to come down and hang out there.
No, that sounds good. Like we talk about it a lot, guys. It's getting to be pretty easy to almost have something to do every month of the year except December for me. But I think I think there's some indoor antique pulling in December too.
There is realistically like the 2 months out of the year where I struggle to find anything is honestly November and like April. Otherwise, you can go do something anytime.
I know we're booked up alternating weeks starting last weekend. We've got something every other weekend through the 1st of April already.
We have another Florida poll, don't we, Doug?
Yeah, Putnam County.
Yeah, that's March 3rd and 4th, I think.
Don't ask me how to pronounce the name of the town because I can't do it.
Tucker's watching. If we need to bring him on for the Light Pro thing, we can do that when we get there.
Yeah, he texted me same as you. I was just getting ready to say something.
Why don't you shoot him the link right now, if that's fine? Let's just bring him on.
I'll send him that link. Yep, I'm on it.
Travis Schlaubaugh said, do I have to register for the RSVP twice for 2 tickets or does one? No, you have to. There was a counter up there, Travis, that said you could enter how many tickets you wanted. If you only picked one, I need you to register one more time, Travis, please, to do that. And again, if you're a Louisville puller and you didn't know about the puller happy hour, please get on there and get registered. We're over half the spots are gone, and we rolled it out last night, so we'll do that. We will do all of that we can. So please check that out. I'm trying to think of what did I put in the notes today, guys. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here.
Mary's Wild Ride.
Yes, I got to bring that up. Other discussion topic: Pullers Happy Hour. I talked about that. Mary's Wild Ride in Ocala. Zellwood, Florida, February 3rd to 4th. Farm Show, 15th through the 18th. Final round fan votes for TPC. Guys, I haven't. So I was in Barbados last week. I dropped my phone in the ocean on Tuesday, and I got my phone back last night. So I really have been out of the loop. What is the fan vote? As Yarn said, our numbers is voting good. Have you heard, Charles?
He's not said. I don't know where we are.
Yep.
It's been consistent. I do know that, and I see the consistent engagement across all platforms from the same people that we thought would be behind it after round number 1 are living up to it for round number 2, and love to see it. It's awesome.
And that's a nice segue into. We need sponsors too, guys, for this. If anybody wants to help sponsor this event, we're looking for class sponsors. Everything from we'll take anything from $250 to $5,000 or a title sponsor. I know Paul's working on a title sponsor right now. Doug's been working on class sponsors. But if anybody wants to be involved with the Pullers Championship, please just reach out to any one of us on the show. Doug's kind of running point, Doug's running point on the sponsorship side of things. And we're all trying to send him as many leads as we can. But please, if you can help out, again, we all the money from the gate and the live stream goes back to the Pullers. We raise sponsorship to cover our fixed cost, and we don't have to have holes out or pay for the whole thing. So please help us out any way you can. That would be great. Adam Wilson says vote Diesel like supers. Starting to see a lot of tentative schedules pop out, guys.
Yep.
Morgan Schulte says that looks like ECI and Badger State are doing like a combo poll in Dubuque this year. So that was something they did back in the 90s when I was watching my dad pull. East Central Iowa would run on one track and Badger State would run on another, always Saturday during the day. That was always a big pull for us. Friday was we always go to Maquoketa on Friday night and then Dubuque on Saturday during the day. That was always a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, Charles or Doug or Roos, who has the best video that you guys saw of? And I'm not bringing up WW's. Anybody besides WW's video of Mary's Wild Ride in Ocala?
Brad Caudle.
Okay.
I saw a comment today on Dusty Price's post the comment was made that Mike mentioned that the steering bolt broke, and you think that's the start of the series of unfortunate events.
Yep, that's what I heard from Dusty as well. You're correct on that.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wilson's video, Jason. Okay, is that on YouTube, Wilson? Bruce is a big deal on the YouTube. I can't wait to get video of his truck this week. I just never seen a video like that. Charles, I know you've seen a lot more stuff than I have, or Doug probably has, but man.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Did a great job with it, and looks like it runs hard.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen a mini rod flip like that?
Yeah, and that'd be my thing about it. I'm concerned about what didn't happen with the kill switch, but otherwise, we see a mini rod do this once every 2 to 3 years. This is not new. It's a racing accident, and it sucks, and I'm glad she's okay, but outside of the kill switch failure, there's nothing to see here.
When was the last time we saw that? Was that
probably Bowling Green last year?
Tim Ray, Bowling Green, probably 2 years ago.
Yep.
And then prior to that, I don't know. Without going over, Tyler Slaw came as close as you can go to not flipping it, but doing the same thing where it, nose planted and broke away from the sled and really smacked him around in the part.
I'm throwing my buddy's video. Oh well.
If you go on,
so there you go.
On Keel, there is a roll cage video of it too.
It's Spending My Kids' Inheritance is the name of it, right?
Spending their inheritance.
Okay. Tucker, how are you, buddy?
That's a pretty good indicator. We'll take that.
Did Tucker just pound a beer?
Yes.
Okay.
Or disposed thereof.
Travis is flirting with CJ Grazik about going to the Pullers Happy Hour. You guys get a room. That's all I'm going to say. So she killed that, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Hey, Tucker, are you caught up from sleep from the Midwest Winter National, sir?
Another day.
Another day. Another day. Well, let's talk Light Pro's component. How did this come about? How long has this been getting chatted about? And what's the theory behind it? Thank you for being this. I know that you do a lot with mirrors and PPL, and they're the ones who said it. Can you go? Is it Silver Series? Can you just kind of talk about the new rule and then let's get into it? So, Tucker.
Holy crap! We rendered him speechless.
He looks
That's not possible.
Well,
can you hear us? Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can hear you guys.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the new Light Pro announcement that PPL put out. Can you just kind of talk about what it is, and then maybe why the decision was made to come to this? So we're gonna all pitch in some money to get Tucker some better internet. How about that?
Yeah, I'm a little behind you guys. Basically, the decision was made because we decided to do this. We want to get this going the right direction, and Jonathan and I talked about it for a long time. We changed ideas back and forth, and we came up with this deal for Silver Series only, and hopefully it doesn't mess up any of the state clubs for 2023, and we'll see if it grows in 2024.
Fair enough. Clint's internet. Can you hear us okay, Clint, or are you really behind us still?
I'm a little behind you. Hang on a second here.
So basically,
I can hear you.
The rule that was announced is what? You guys is $8,500 for a regular Light Pro, and then how are they gonna even it out this first year, Clint?
I think I read it's 8,300, isn't it? For a component.
Charles, do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not sure. That sounds right though.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first year.
Okay, he's back.
Yeah, for the first year, there's a 300 pounds weight. Not real sure. I'm not real sure how many components are actually going to see the track this summer. But I think you might see it by August.
I just lost Tucker, guys. I don't know what's going on. I think his internet's slow there. So
seems like.
I talked to Elsing a little bit earlier today. I know that's something we've been talking about for a while. That was one question I wanted to ask Clint was how many Light Pro components are out there right now? I wouldn't, unless somebody knew had an inkling on this, right? Yeah, I would say zero, but it's something to get. But
well, one half.
Well, fair enough.
One half.
Fair enough.
I figured this was PPL's answer to the 5-inch class. Instead of adding that, they're just going to go component, and it's not quite the same, but doesn't create another class.
Did Western Series adopted the 5-inch class though? Didn't they last year? I feel like
they did.
Yeah. How long has the Outlaws been with the 5-inch class, Bruce? Probably 10 years.
As long as I've been involved with it.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure on all that. Jeremy Yant said that PPL offered the 5.0 class, so I'm not sure what associations. So, but PPL technically is Champions Tour, which obviously is the big pros, and then they would have what a silver and a Midwest, right, guys, and then Western. And then there's like that. They didn't change their pro stock rule, but are there any other associations that guys that did change?
No, it's my understanding is Silver Series only. It does not apply to Midwestern Series or Western Series.
You're talking about the Light Pro rule, right?
Light Pro rule.
Yep. Okay. I don't want to mix up the
5.0. In terms of 5.0, I don't know that PPL's done anything there.
Okay. Yeah, Jeremy's saying they offered it, but it is what it is.
Western Series did, but maybe they did in other places as well.
Yep. I'm not 100% sure, guys. Well, it is what it is. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I was hoping to get Tucker on a little bit, but I don't want to. His internet was bad and it was dragging, so I didn't want to put us all through the torture of that. So we'll get him on here another time. So, what else, guys? Before we wrap it up, Bruce, Charles, Doug, you got anything?
Not off the top of my head.
Bruce?
No, not really.
Sir Charles?
Long and the short of it,
Okay.
I could maybe say some things, but probably better to keep quiet.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, that's no fun. I do think I will make one more comment about the minis. I know that there had been a little bit of back and forth about people putting wives, girlfriends, spouses, yada yada yada, kind of doing the whole horse racing thing. Say again.
It's fine. They can handle it. I'm on the same page as you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that there may have been some things that were maybe misconstrued a little bit about, and I'm not singling anybody out, but about, whether youth or gender plays into this. I don't think it was as much that as these things are a damn handful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for anybody, you have to be just a little bit mental to climb into the seat of one of those and go and just bend the throttle hell bent for leather.
Yes.
They're wild and crazy by their very nature. Is there a way to do, is there a training wheels class for that? No, not really. You kind of just got to jump in with both feet. I mean, there's, some have said, well, is there a way that we can require a year or two under the belt in a bigger class? I don't think that really helps.
How do you teach that?
Yeah.
When Wyatt had the opportunity to drive, he got in 15 years old. Have fun, He'd never even driven a hot farm tractor before. They just put him in and told him what to do.
On any given weekend where big block mini rods are running, you will see one do the exact same maneuver this one did. But on this particular occasion, it bounced the hook out of the drawbar, and it went wild. It happens like that once, I'd say every 2 to 3 years. It was a wild ride. Stuff happens. The safety equipment did its job. Mary's fine.
Yep.
As I said earlier, outside of what happened with the kill switch, there is nothing that I don't care how experienced a mini rod driver you are, the move that thing made, you're not getting off the throttle fast enough to save that thing. You're not. Yeah. If you think you're that arrogant, I got news for you. You're not that good. No one is. It just happens.
Yep, it sure does. Yeah, Travis said it best. The roll cage did its job, and that's what Dave Schreier said today too, didn't he, Doug?
Yep.
When we were sitting up there in Toma, that was do it, and it just happened. So I'm just glad that pullers are willing to put on a good show for us and make it happen and entertain us, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And we're doing the best we can to bring guests to you guys every Monday night, and promoters and pullers, and make things happen to keep it promoting the sport. So I'm going to wrap it up. Zellwood, Florida, this February 3rd and 4th. If anybody needs some information on that, please go to flpullers.com or FL Pullers on Facebook. And then Farm Show is February 15th through the 18th. And then, Doug, what do we have coming up? That is Putnam County, Florida, then March.
Yeah, we're at the Farm Show, booth 3610 in the West Wing. And then 2 weeks later,
Yeah,
think about this a second.
March 3rd and 4th, 2 weeks after
Right.
Louisville.
Putnam County, that's like north of Daytona and south of Jacksonville, up in that area. It's the guy that owns it is Mark Kelsey. He's from Rockford, Illinois. They bought a racetrack that was not competable or you know how Speed Week works. If you're not Volusia County, I guess it's not. You have a tough time. So they cut the corners down, built a supercross track in the center, and they had a 700-foot straightaway to build a pulling track on. So
nice.
That's the 3rd and 4th of March. And then we go to the Keystone, then St. Patrick's Day weekend. And then I believe we're back in Louisville for the truck show.
Yep.
1st of April. So it's 1 week home, 1 week on the road.
Boom, boom, boom. Travis and CJ are still flirting. So CJ did a few years ago. That's when I'm taking Donald to the announcement party. I love it. I'm not proud. I'm not proud enough to tell you mine was driver error, Travis. Yep, that's all good. No, that's good. I mean, we read a lot of these comments and they piss us off, just to be brutally honest with you. But it's what makes social media. Everybody's allowed to comment. And I know some of you do it just to stir the pot. And I'm not a pot stirrer. I used to try to answer all of them, and I just gave up long ago. I just want to promote the sport the best we can to put more eyeballs on it, and I think we're doing that every Monday night with the quality of guests we're bringing on. Big shout out to Mike Whitt, one of the committee members of the National Farm Machinery Show. Really took us behind the scenes, how they picked the classes, how they picked the pullers. The smoke tube, all of it. It was a great interview. We had well over 200 people watching live, which the guys on the show know that's really good. Those are good numbers. And we're super, super excited for all of that. We did the Pullers Championship t-shirts, guys, and I almost forgot this, are on sale. I think we're $15 for a t-shirt now and $25 for hoodies. We're trying to wrap up, close out last year's stuff at beermoneypullingteam.com. Click on Beer Money Gear and go find that to get those. We would appreciate you picking those up. I don't know if I don't think we have all the sizes left, but the website clearly breaks it down. So
you had mentioned Dave for a guest soon. We've also got Gary Collins lined up at when we want to use him. So I think that'll be interesting to hear the history and stories from arena pulling.
Yep. Oh, very cool. And then Hot Farms is a power ranking show this Thursday night with Charles, Wyatt, and Shane. What else? Wednesday night we'll be on our way to Florida, so we're going to do a lot of just lives talking about Zellwood. And then tomorrow night is the Outlaw Show, and Ron has been interviewing outlaw competitors that are going to the National Farm Machinery Show. So Charles, Ryan, Doug, unless you got anything else, let's wrap it up. So
good luck to Bruce Wilson with the new semi. Interested to see how it hooks.
He pulled it in Ocala, I think, Bruce.
Did he?
I think I saw a couple of videos out there. So
let's see how hot you can get that carbon fiber hood stack and not melt it down.
There we go.
That's fun.
Looks like he needs to turn the screw up a little bit on her yet, but that'll come in time.
Yep. Yes, he did, is what Adam said. Yes, he did. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to play a couple quick spots from our sponsor, KawasakiPartsWarehouse.com. Get your stuff from KawasakiPartsWarehouse.com.
Before you do that, one more thing. Doug.
Yeah.
When's I-75? You guys going to go?
I haven't discussed this with Jason yet, but I did get requested to go. It was the last weekend, I believe, of April. So.
What is I-75?
The Wildwood Chrome Shop in Florida, the truck show. They sold out all spaces in less than 2 hours. So,
and we got requested to go?
Kind of, sort of, in a back doorway. So we'll talk about it on our ride.
Charles, what does kind of, sort of, and a back doorway mean?
I tacitly.
That kind of sounds like there's an OnlyFans for it.
I didn't declare it with the boss.
Charles, did you put your OnlyFans up for your toes yet? So.
No, but now that you threaten me, I might.
Yep. Dallas, Todd, Ryan, do you have a website for your photos to sell?
Just shoot me a message on the face tubes. I don't have anything loaded up yet.
Yes, Murfreesboro is this weekend as well. Tony Weber is Shane Hunt. I'm ready for Murfreesboro. Wade Nicholson, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, this Friday and Saturday. Great pull. Absolutely. I hope to see a lot of you, or many of you, in Zellwood, Florida. This will be pay-per-view next year through our new beermoneypulling.tv that we're working on. We're going to learn. We're going to run outlawpulling.tv this summer. And if you are a promoter and you're having an event basically October 1st through May, and you want to do pay-per-view or have it live stream for, to charge, reach out to Doug and I. Reach out to Doug. Reach out to Beer Money Pulling Team. That's something we're going to be doing next year. Diesels and Dark Corners already signed on a couple Florida pulls, and we're going to be trying to bring more of that, the pulls outside of the Outlaw season to you. So, yeah, that's all I got. Sort of, kind of in a backdoor way. How about that? So, have a good night, guys.
Take care.
Later on.
KawasakiPartsWarehouse.com is our title sponsor of the Beer Money Pulling Team. So, please, if you need any Kawasaki parts, go to KawasakiPartsWarehouse.com. I'd appreciate that a lot. Bye, Adam. Bye, Shane.